కూడా చదువు. ఓం గణానాం త్వా గణపతిం హవామహే కవిం కవీనాముపమశ్రవస్తమం జ్యేష్ఠరాజం బ్రహ్మణాం బ్రహ్మణస్పతాన శృణ్వన్నోతిభిः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Om. Dear friends, we have to read this 11th shloka of 10th adhyaya. We have completed the 10th one, that is 10th shloka, that is Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam tam yena mam upayanti te. That shloka and also the entire bhashya we completed. The context is that for the devotee who realizes the Supreme God, not exactly realizes, who worships the Supreme God in order to realize. So in the first stage, what does the Lord do? The Lord gives him buddhi yogam. He unites unites that devotee with buddhi, and buddhi is the thing which is required for realizing Supreme Brahman. So that is the context. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Because this devotee has given up all other parichanna rupas of the Lord. Parichanna means delimited, all these delimited rupas, all these small deities and all that, he has given up all those things, and then he is not asking for any favor or anything. He has come to that nishkama level, and then he is worshipping the supreme deity with all devotion. Bhajatam priti purvakam, without any sort of agenda. Preeti means not for jivanopadhi, not for livelihood, not for anything else, not requesting anything, but out of sheer love for the divine. So for such a man, what does the Lord do? The Lord gives him buddhi yogam. Then with the help of that buddhi yogam, mam upayanti te, those people, they come to me, they realize me. So that is the meaning. So we have to see this next shloka. There is one line avatarika also. Let us read it. Kimartham kasyava tat prapti pratibandha hetor nashakam buddhi yogam
तत्प्राप्ति प्रतिबंध हेतोः नाशकं बुद्धियोगं
तेषां त्वद्भक्तानां ददासि इत्याकांक्षायाम् आह. So the question is, he is just putting the context, that is kimartham, what for, kasyava hetoh nashakam, that is what is it that you are going to tell, and what is it that is going to destroy? That is that buddhi, you are talking about that buddhi which is going to destroy the cause of all obstacles. So that is the meaning of this whole passage, whole expression. Tat prapti pratibandha. Prapti means attainment. Pratibandha means an obstacle. Pratibandha hetu means the cause of that obstacle. Pratibandha hetor vinashakam means that which destroys the cause for all these obstacles. And what is it? That is ajnana. Ajnana only. Ajnana is the cause which causes all the obstacles. And then the ajnana nashakam. Buddhi yogam is something which is ajnana nashakam. So that is the meaning here. Tat prapti pratibandha hetor nashakam. That is, the buddhi yogam is going to destroy. This is the destroyer of the cause of all the obstacles. So that is the meaning. That buddhi yogam Tesham tvadbhaktanam dadasi, for all those people who are your devotees, who are having a totally disinterested love and devotion for you. For such people, what are you going to, why are you going to do that? So then let us see the shloka. Teshameva anukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayamyatma bhavastha jnanadipena bhasvata. This is a very brilliant shloka, for which Shankaracharya has also written a very brilliant commentary. It talks about a jnana deepa. So where does realization take place? Realization takes place in the mind only. Mana eva manushyanam sadhanam bandha mokshayoha. Mind is the play, mind is the only tool, either for getting bound in all these things or getting released also, isn't it? So if you want realization, where does realization take place? Realization takes place in the mind only. And how does that realization take place? And the mind has to become a light for its own, a light of its own. Atma Deepo Bhava, says Lord Buddha. There is one famous line from Buddha, Lord Buddha, that is Atma Deepo Bhava. You be a light unto yourself. So this light, that internal light, is what the Upanishads also say. In the Upanishads also we have been seeing about this Jyotir Brahmanam of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Kim Jyotirayam Purushaha, Atma Jyotihi. So that Atma Jyoti, self, that realization itself is that self-illumination. So that sort of expression is very common in both Buddhism and also in the Upanishads. So here Lord Krishna is telling about this Deepam only, Jnana Deepena Bhaswata. So I am going to light that Jnana Deepam in the man's heart, in that devotee's heart. So that is what he is saying. The whole meaning of the shloka is, out of sheer love and affection for him, because that fellow also is worshipping me Priti Purvakam, with great love, with great affection. I, with equal amount of affection and compassion, I light that lamp of wisdom in his heart. So that is the meaning. Tesham eva anukampartham. Anukampa means anukampanam, sympathy or compassion. Not sympathy. Sympathy is a rather negative word. Compassion, let us say. Anukampa. Anukampa means anugraha. That is, in order to help them, in order to favor them, in order to see that they come out of these bonds of samsara. So that is the meaning. Anukampa. Kampanam means shaking. Anukampanam means shaking together, which means compassion. The compassion is again a similar word, where you are in tune, you are almost say in the same wavelength. In other words, not exactly that also. That is basically to favor. There is instead of going into the etymology, it is better to say the usual meaning. The usual meaning is out of sheer compassion, in order to favor that devotee, anukampartham, aham ajnanajam tamaha. That is this darkness. Tamaha is darkness. The darkness which is born out of ajnana. Ajnanajam tamaha. That is this darkness which is born out of ignorance. That is, tamaha is actually false knowledge. Not exactly total ignorance. This is false knowledge. Ajnana, whenever we refer to ajnana, what does it mean? Ajnana does not mean total foolishness. Ajnana means a lot of avidya. Not the right perception, he has a totally wrong perception. Instead of realizing it as something, he is realizing it as something else. A totally wrong perception. That is what is ajnana. And the famous example given is that Rajju Sarpa. Instead of realizing it as a Rajju, you see it as a Sarpa, and then you get excited, and then you try to work out all types of remedies. So that is the meaning. So ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavasthaha aham nashayami. I am destroying that ajnanajam tamaha. How? Atma bhavasthaha. By staying in his own atma, in his own mind, in his own antahkarana. Atma here is antahkarana. Atma bhavaha. Atma bhava is antahkarana vritti. That which is there in his antahkarana, in the form of his own antahkarana vritti, I stay in the form of that antahkarana vritti, and dwelling in his own heart. Dwelling in his own heart. Heart means buddhi. In his own buddhi as antahkarana vritti. And then I light that jnana deepa. And with that jnana, bhaswata jnana deepena. Bhaswata is an adjective for this jnana deepa. Bhaswata means shining, brilliantly shining. Bha means light. Bhaswan is that which is shining. Bhaswata is the tritiya vibhakti, the third vibhakti. Instrumental case, the tritiya vibhakti. Bhaswata jnana deepena. This jnana deepa is this light called knowledge, this light called samyak jnanam, this deepam called samyak jnanam. Is the shloka clear? Yes. Tesham anukampartham tesham eva. Of those people only. Of those people only means not others, not all others who are not having that same love and affection. For those who are asking for some wealth, he will give wealth. For those who are approaching without any agenda, without any request, he will give buddhi. In fact, we have to recall another line, earlier line of 7th Adhyaya, where he says, Chaturvidha bhajante mam janah sukrituno arjuna artaha jignasuhu artharthi jnani. Then one who is in distress, artaha jignasu, one who is sort of somebody who is interested in knowing, learning. Then artharthi, somebody who wants some more material benefits. He is not in a bad shape, but he wants some more material advancement. So that is artharthi. Then jnani who is a realized person, and still he doesn't need jnana because he has already learned jnana. So for instance, that jignasu who comes without any agenda, so the Lord will give bhakti. So that line we have to recall. And there again he also says, I respond to them according to their desire. Whatever they ask, I will give. If he wants money, I will give. If he wants some help in a crisis situation, I will help in a crisis situation. So that sort of shloka we have seen. So we have to recall that shloka here. Here, for their anukam, tesham eva, those who are approaching me without any sort of request, I will give this jnana deepa. I will see that they say in his antahkarana atma bhavastha, by being stationed in his atma, in his antahkarana, I light that lamp of wisdom. So that is the meaning. Let us see the bhashyam. Tesham eva katham nama shreyasyat इत्यनुकंपार्थम दया हेतोः अहम अज्ञानजम अविवेकतो जातम मिथ्या प्रत्यय लक्षणम मोहांधकारम तमः नाशयामि आत्मभावस्थः आत्मनो भावः अंतःकरण आशयः तस्मिन्नेव स्थितः सन्. Okay. So teshameva katham nama shreyasyat, out of sheer compassion, how can I help them? Katham nama shreyah syat, how can I do some good to them? So in that frame of mind, with that idea in my mind, so that is the meaning here. How can I help them? So with that idea in their mind, katham nama shreyasya syat iti anukampartham, that is daya hetoh. Anukampa is daya, that is compassion. With that reason, aham ajnanajam tamaha avivekatah jatam. Ajnanajam means avivekatah. Aviveka means lack of discrimination, lack of viveka. Aviveka is lack of viveka, that is lack of discrimination, not knowing what is right and what is wrong, what is nitya, what is anitya. So that is the meaning. Then mithya pratyaya lakshanam, that is mithya pratyaya. It is not as though he is totally ignorant. He may be having a lot of all other worldly knowledge. All the worldly knowledge he will be having. Mithya pratyayam, all that is mithya. Mithya is unreal. Mithya pratyaya. Mithya pratyaya means pratyaya is knowledge. Mithya pratyaya lakshanam. So there is a lot of unreal knowledge. Mithya is one word which you have to understand. Mithya does not mean totally something like a magic or something totally, absolutely unreal. So till the reality dawns on you, it appears as real. So that is the peculiarity of this mithya. It appears, it is not totally unreal like Shashashrunga, that is the rabbit's horn, or something like a flower in the sky. It is not totally unreal, but it is partly unreal. That is, when there is a realization of God in you, then the world appears unreal. So till that time, it appears as real. So that is it. Mithya pratyaya lakshanam. Then mohandhakaram tamaha. Mohandhakaram. Moha eva andhakaram. Moha means delusion. That delusion itself is darkness. Moha eva andhakaram, that is mohandhakaram. Tamaha is darkness. Nashayami atma bhavasthaha. Aham, I am going to destroy. Atma bhavasthaha, he is explaining. Atmano bhavaha antahkaranasya antahkarana ashayaha. Ashayaha means the place of dwelling. Ashayaha. Ashayarate yasminiti ashayaha. That is, that way, in their antahkarana, whatever is there, that buddhi vrutti, In that form, in the form of that buddhi vritti, I will stay in there antahkarana. Ashayaha, antahkarana, ashayaha means buddhi vritti. That is the meaning given by Anandagiri. Tasya ashayaha tannishtaha vritti visheshaha, he says. Antahkarana ashayaha means antahkarana vritti. You may note down. That is the meaning given by Anandagiri. That buddhi vritti, we know. Buddhi is that thought, that a particular thought frame, let us say, a particular thought that say, it is usually translated as mental modification, but I don't like the translation. It is better to use a simpler word called thought. In that thought process, let us say, or thought frame. So in the shape of that thought frame or thought process, I enlighten him. So that is the meaning. Tasminneva sthitasan. Then jnana deepena viveka pratyaya rupena bhakti prasada snehabhishiktena madbhavanabhinivesha vateritena bhavana abhinivesha vata iritena bhavanabhinivesha vateritena. Then brahmacharyadi sadhana samskaravat prajnavartina viraktantah karanadharena vishayavyavruta chitta ragadvesha kulita vyavruta chitta ragadvesha akalushita ragadvesha akalushita nivata apavarakasthena nitya pravruta ekagriya dhyana janita samyak darshana bhaswata jnana deepena ityarthaha. So whenever there is an occasion for a poetic expression, Shankaracharya goes into some poetic expressions, because we know that Shankaracharya is also a great poet. He has written that Shivananda Lahari, Saundarya Lahari and all those things, and several other stotras. So because of all, so that is why Shankaracharya is not only a great commentator, he is also a great poet. So here he says, let me first explain. If you want to light a lamp in a traditional way means not that electrical lamp or anything. Traditional lamp means where you have got a small a cup-like thing, that the deepam as we call it, and then that is the base that forms the base. It may be a metallic thing or it may be a mud clay one, and then you have to put some oil in that. You have to put some wick in that. And then there should be some normal breeze should be there, and then there should not be too much of wind, because if there is too much of wind, the lamp will be blown out. So normally, to ensure that the lamp is not blown out, you put some sort of glass, say, cover around it. So this is a normal structure of a lamp, isn't it? So that lamp is being described here. What should be that base? What should be that oil? What should be that wick? Then say how that breeze should be. So that is what is being described here. So here, Jnana Deepena Viveka Pratyaya Rupena. What is the shape of that Jnana Deepa? The shape of that Jnana Deepa is Viveka Pratyaya. That is proper understanding. That is proper Buddhi, Viveka Buddhi. That Viveka Buddhi is the result of that Jnana Deepa. Jnana Deepa is of the nature of that Viveka Buddhi. That Viveka Buddhi is only going to give you light. That Viveka Buddhi is only giving to destroy that ignorance which is born out of, say, Ajnana. Destroy that darkness born out of that Ajnana. So that is it. Viveka Pratyaya Rupena, Jnana Deepena. So the essence of that Jnana Deepa, the nature of Jnana Deepa is Viveka Pratyaya. That is proper discrimination. Then, what is the oil you put there? Bhakti Prasada Snehabhishiktena. Bhakti Prasada. That is Bhakti. Bhakti, we know, Bhakti is devotion. Devotion, simple devotion. Then Prasada. Prasada Buddhi is one word, we will get it sometime later. Prasada, when you go to a temple, you are given some prasadam and you eat that prasadam. So that prasadam is one meaning. The second meaning of prasadam is contentment, happiness. Prasada Buddhi. Suppose something happens, say you take it, okay, you take it in the stride, you take in the normal stride, you don't get excited. That is Prasada Buddhi. Prakarshena Sidati Manaha. iti prasadah. Prakarshena sidati. You just sit quiet. You just sit quiet, whatever comes. So we have seen in the second and third chapters, samadukha, shitoshna samadukhayoho, in all these dvandvas, in all these dualities, a person who stays very firm, so that is that prasada sthiti. Whatever duality, if there is a happiness or unhappiness, not only physical, but even mental afflictions, all these things, the ability to withstand, the ability to keep calm, and the ability to take them in their stride, that is that prasada buddhi. And also contentment, composure. Instead of contentment gives a meaning of say physical wants and then their adequacy or inadequacy, something like that. But this is more physical composure, that is prasada buddhi. Contentment and composure, let us say. Contentment and composure. So that is the oil. So that is the oil. Bhakti prasada sneha abhishiktena. Abhishiktam is that which is made wet. Abhishekam. We know that Abhisheka is putting something on, putting some water or milk or something on the object which you are worshipping, isn't it? So here, Bhakti Prasada Sneha. Sneha means oil. Sneha, one meaning of Sneha is friendship. Another meaning of Sneha is oil. Sneha actually means ghee. Ghee, the cow ghee, that was the rarefied butter as we call it in English, that is that ghee. Sneha, the meaning of Sneha is ghee. So, Bhakti Prasada Sneha Abhishiktena. So, that which is made wet with the oil, soaked, not made wet, soaked in the oil, called your Bhakti and Prasada. Because of this Bhakti, it has resulted in that Prasada Buddhi, that equanimity. Okay, equanimity also is a useful word here. Equanimity, that composure, capacity to to take all the dualities. So, that is the meaning here. So, that sort of, that is the oil. And then there is a gentle air which is required. If a lamp has to say glow, it cannot glow in a vacuum. So there should be some gentle air, but not too much of air. What is that gentle air? Mad bhavana abhinivesha vate iritena. Mat bhavana abhinivesha vata iritena. So that is how we have to break it. Mat relating to me, bhavana, mad bhavana, that is dwelling in me, thinking about me, meditating on me. Bhavana is meditation also. Mad bhavana. Abhinivesha. Abhinivesha means firmness in that. Abhinivesha. Abhinivishta. That is, abhinivesha is, that is firmness in that. You should not be a wavering person. You should always be thinking about that Supreme Being only. Your abhinivesha is not that you will not be doing any other job. You may be doing all your jobs. While doing all your daily jobs also, you will be thinking about the Supreme. Yadyat karma karoti tattad akhilam. With that frame of mind, whatever action I am doing, O Shambho, this is tava aradhanam. This is your worship. So with that frame of mind, there will be many people. We come across so many stories. Even now, today, if you go to villages and you see some simple people, there are so many simple people, even now, who are in this frame of mind. Unfortunately, we don't come across good men in our normal, environment. But if you just go to some other rural areas and see some good people, there will be so many good people. So like that, mat bhavana abhinivesha. Abhinivesha, as I said, is firmness. You be sticking to that. Abhinivesha. Abhi is a upasarga. Nivesha, that is to be fixed in that. Abhinivesha. Abhinivesha. Vata. Vata means breeze. Vata is air. Vateritena. That is that which is supported by that gentle breeze called my meditation. So this meditation, this continuous firmness, firmness in meditation. So that is the breeze which is going to light that particular lamp. Then what is that wick? You also need a wick, isn't it? And that wick is your own prajna. That wick is your own prajna, your own ego. Your own ego has to be burnt out. That ego has to get destroyed, isn't it? So that ego, all that thing has to get destroyed. So that is possible by brahmacharyadi sadhana samskaravat prajnavartina. So all these sadhanas have taken place. Brahmacharya adi sadhana samskaravat. This brahmacharya is brahmavatcharya, brahmanicharya, in whatever manner you want to say. That is say Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, this is the Brahmacharya, isn't it? Brahmacharya. And also Shama, Dhamma and all these things, practicing the Shama, Dhamma and all these things. So that ego has to be burnt out slowly by the process of Shravana, Manana on one side and also Shama, Dhamma on another side. The ego will not go simply by learning. Simply by doing Shravanam, ego will not disappear. Ego will disappear slowly, slowly and slowly and slowly. Ego will disappear as and how you practice the Shama, Dhamma, Titiksha and Uparati and all these things, isn't it? So that is why Rudra Granthi is said to be the last thing. Brahma Granthi Vibhedini and Vishnu Granthi Vibhedini and Rudra Granthi Vibhedini is at the end. That is in the Agnya Chakra where that ego is so firmly located. So that ego will be destroyed only by a long practice of this Brahmacharya, Shama, Dhamma and all these things. Brahmacharyadi, Sadhana, Samskaravat, Prajnavartina. Samskaravat means that which is Samskruta, that which is refined. Samskara means refinement. There are so many samskaras we have got. We have got Shodasha samskaras. What are these samskaras? Samskara is something which will remove the negative thing and add some positive thing. That is, there is one small definition also for samskara. What is that? Guna adhanam. That is, I forget that say definition. Guna adhanam is, that is adding some gunam and removing the negative factor. So that is samskara. In any samskara, it has to first purify and add some additional value also. So that is what is called samskara. So that with all this brahmacharya, etc., all these sadhanas are giving some samskara to the person. That prajna, that particular prajna, that particular mind is the varti. Varti means that is vik, varti. That Telugu, Samskrita word varti has become vatti in Telugu. In Telugu we call it vati. So that there are so many Telugu words like that. If you just see, go back, you will find the Sanskrit original. Prajna Vattina. Then what should be the base? What should be the cup? That virakta antahkarana adharena. This adhara again is that virakta antahkarana. Virakta means that attachment. That attachment has dropped off. Raga, raga, from the same word raga, this word rakta comes, isn't it? The same dhatu, kata pratyaya. If you add kata pratyaya, it becomes raga, becomes rakta. Virakta. Visheshena Vigata Raktaha. Yes, not Visheshena, Vigata Raktaha. That is Vigata Ragaha, Viragaha. Viragasya bhavam Virakta. So that is it. That is that which is totally devoid of all attachment, all that sort of clinging to objects, etc. So that is Virakta. Virakta Antahkarana, that is the Adhara, that is the base. So if you see, Antahkarana, one type of Antahkarana is say base. The Prajna, that is also part of Antahkarana, that is ego. That ego has to be burnt out, that is called that is a vik. Then say what is this? Bhakti Prasada Sneha Abhishiktena. Okay, that is Bhakti Prasada Sneha, that is the oil. Okay. Then Vishaya Vyavrutta Chitta Ragadvesha Akalushita Nivata Apavarakasthena. So, Vishaya Vyavrutta Chittam. What is this Vishaya Vyavrutta Chittam? Chittam, we know, Chittam is mind. Vishayebhyaha Vyavruttam. That is, that which has, come back from the sense Vishayas. Vyavruttam is which has come back, which has returned. That is, which has withdrawn. No, not returned, withdrawn, let us say. Chittam is withdrawn from all these sense objects. That is Vishaya Vyavrutta Chitta. So, Vishaya Vyavrutta Chittam is the Chittam which has withdrawn from the senses, sense objects. So, that is the meaning. Then, Vishaya Vyavrutta Chitta, then what? Then so something more is there. Raga Dvesha Akalushita. That is unpolluted by Raga and Dvesha. Akalushita. Kalushitam means that is polluted. Kalushita. Akalushita means unpolluted. Raga Dvesha Akalushita means that which is unpolluted by Raga and Dvesha. So the mind, the Chittam which is unpolluted by Raga and Dvesha, and then which has also withdrawn from all these Vishayas, that is the sense objects. So that sort of thing, that is the thing which is Kalushita, Akalushita, Nivata Apavarakasthena. That is the Apavarakam. Apavarakam means, suppose you put a small chimney you know, that small chimney will be there. There is a lamp which is glowing, and then around that, in order to avoid the breeze, etc., you put a chimney. And this chimney is this sort of antahkarana, this chittam. Chittam is that faculty which is that recalling faculty, isn't it? So here you have seen the mind as one thing, antahkarana is one thing, then again the vik, that ego is one thing, then again this chittam is another thing. Chittam is that recalling faculty, isn't it? The recalling faculty of mind is that chittam. That is, this chittam should not have any type of bad vasanas. Vasana, we know, all those impressions, all these negative, positive impressions of various things which he has experienced earlier, all those things should have been negated. All those things should have been obliterated. That vasana kshayam, we have heard about that word vasana kshayam also. All those vasanas should have say died down. So that sort of chittam, that means there is no negative vasana at all. So that sort of chittam is going to protect this particular lamp. So this Viveka Deepa, when you are doing this discrimination, you imagine we are doing some say Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. When you are doing this Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, this is the process of Viveka, isn't it? In that process of Viveka, you are having some temptations from outside. So which means your chittam is not proper. Chittam, this protector, apavarakam. This apavarakam is a sort of chimney, that which prevents. Apavarakam. Apavaranam, that is preventing, isn't it? Apavaranam is something like prevention. That which is a sort of shield, let us say. Apavarakam is a shield. A better word is shield. I did not get that word. Apavaraka, shield. So it is a sort of shield, apavarakam. So that shield, what is that shield? Chittam is the shield. Chittam, where all the negative vasanas have gone, and then which is not allowing any type of negative vasana to disturb your thinking. When you are in the process of nididhyasanam, suppose you see your enemy and then you are reminded of your enemy, or you see some friend and then you get attracted and then again you go to the bar, pub and sit down there. So such things will not take place here. So that is the meaning. Akalushita, nivata. Nivata means that huge windless, nivata. We have seen this nirvana also. Vata is air. Nivata is where there is no air. There is just adequate air to light the lamp, as we have seen in the earlier word. Abhinivesha vate eritena. That vatam should be there, but then not too much of wind. Air should be there, but not too much of wind. So that is the meaning. Nivata apavarakasthena. Then nitya pravrutta ekagra. Nitya pravrutta plus ekagra, nitya pravrutta ekagriya. Nitya pravrutta ekagriya dhyana janita samyak darshanam. So this sort of lamp, nitya pravrutta, always you are engaged in that. Nitya means always, pravrutta means engaged. Nitya pravrutta ekagriya dhyana janita. Ekagriya means focused, one-pointed, determined. Ekagriya, one-pointedness is called ekagriyam. That is, you are focused on that, you are dedicated to that particular thing, you are not deviating from that. That is ekagrata, ekagra chittam. Your mind is so concentrated. With that type of concentration, ekagrata, the other words called ekagrata, is concentration. With such a concentrated mind, then this samyak darshana bhasvata jnana deepena. So this jnana deepa is going to give you this samyak darshana. So at that time only, with all these conditions, the proper oil and then proper base and then proper wick and then all the ego has to burn out and then all these vasanas should not come and disturb. So this all this chitta raga dvesha akalushita chittam. So that is the apavarakam, that is the sort of shield. So all these say conditions should be there in order to ensure that jnana deepa is properly lit in the antahkarana. So that is the meaning here. Vasvata jnana deepena ityarthaha. Is this line clear? So Shankaracharya has used some poetry here, and then we have to say slowly understand that poetry. Then yathoktam bhagavataha vibhutim
यथोक्तां भगवतः विभूतिं
yogam cha shrutva arjuna uvacha.
योगं च श्रुत्वा अर्जुन उवाच.
So Arjuna, having heard bhagavataha vibhutim yogam cha shrutva, means having heard that vibhuti and yoga. We have seen these two words, vibhuti and yoga. Vibhuti is manifestation. Yoga is his the real nature. Yoga is the real nature, that swarupa. that is Satya, Jnana, Ananta Lakshanam, that is that which is capable of manifesting in any form. So that is that Satya, Jnana, Ananta Lakshanam is the Yogam. Then Vibhuti is, he is manifesting in this form, that form is manifesting as sun, is manifesting as moon, is manifesting as something else, all this universe. So that is the Vibhuti. Vishe Vividham Bhavanam, that one manifesting as many. Yogam is Ekatvam, Vibhuti is diversity. So that is what we have seen earlier also, we have seen these two words. Vibhutim cha yogam cha shrutva Arjuna uvacha. So let us read the shloka. Arjuna uvacha. Param Brahma Param Dhama. Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. Purusham Shashvatam Divyam. Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. So this line is connected to the 13th shloka also. So that is why this shloka is incomplete rather. Incomplete in the sense the sentence is incomplete. Shloka is complete anyway. Sentence is incomplete. Purusham Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahuhu. Ahuhu. That verb is there in the next shloka. So let us see. Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna says like this. Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. Hey Krishna, Bhavan means you. Param Brahma, you are that supreme Brahman. We have come across these two words, Parabrahma and Aparabrahma. Now I accept that you are not the Aparabrahma, you are the Param Brahma. Aparabrahma is that Upasya Brahma. Parabrahma is Jnaya Brahma. We have come across these words also. Upasya is that which you normally worship, that Upasana, at that Upasana level. That is, it is only an appearance in that supreme consciousness, in that infinite consciousness. All these things are mere appearances. These are all some small finite entities. All these small finite entities in that infinite, unthinkable, endless, that is consciousness. So in that supreme consciousness, these are all small entities. That is what is Parichinna thing. That is what is called Apara Brahma. Parabrahma is that Jnaya Brahma. This is something which has to be understood, which has to be realized. So this is something that can be attained. This is Apyam and this is the Apara Brahma is something which is attained. You go to that particular loka. Whereas Jnaya Brahma, you become that, that's all. You realize because you are already that. So that is the meaning. Param Brahma. Then Param Dhama. Param Dhama, that is the supreme, level. Actually Dhama actually means sthanam, but here that particular meaning is deliberately it is not negated, deliberately it is avoided. That is Dhama. Shankaracharya is giving the meaning Teja. Teja is a splendor, that supreme splendor of yours. Param Dhama. Dhama normally means a place, because for Brahman there is no place, isn't it? For Brahma, there is no place as such. So he is beyond place, time, etc. So that is why that supreme Dhama is splendor, Tejaha. Then Pavitram Paramam. That is Paramam Pavitram Bhavan. That is you are that supreme Pavitram. Pavitram means that which is the purifier. How? That itself is so Pavitram in the sense that it is untouched by any of these samsarika bandha, any type of bondage. It is Akarta, Abhokta. It has no Kartrutvam, no Bhoktrutvam. In that sense, it is something which is totally, absolutely Nitya Shuddha. That is what we can say. Shuddha. We know that word Shuddham. Nitya Shuddha, Buddha Mukta. There are four words which we normally use, isn't it? Yes. Shuddha. Shuddha means pure. So that is what is here mentioned. Pavitram. Shuddha. That is untouched by any of these activities, any untouched by Papa, Punya, etc. Kartrutva, Bhoktrutva. So that is that Pavitram. Then Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. So the first line, Hey Krishna, Bhavan, Param Brahma, you are the supreme Brahma, you are the Param Dhama, you are the supreme splendor, then you are the supreme purifier. Then these are in the, what is that nominative case? That is Prathama Vibhakti. But the words in all the second line, they are all in Dvitiya Vibhakti. Purusham, Shashvatam, Divyam, Ajam, Vibhum, Ahuhu. The next line, if you see the next shloka, Ahustvam Rushayas Sarve. Next shloka, if you see, just see the next shloka. It starts as Ahuhu Tvam. So this Ahuhu is the verb. Ahuhu means they say. Ahuhu, this is plural. They say. Hu Rushayah. the rishis, the sages, they say. So that is the verb here. So the sages say what? Purusham, come back to this shloka, present shloka. Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Ahu. Purusham. Purusha we know. Purusha is Purnatvat Purushaha, one who is complete. Purnamadah Purnamidam, we have seen that shloka. Purnam, that which is complete, that which is infinite, that which is endless, that is Purusha. Or Purishayanat Purusha, there are two meanings there. That which is indwelling in all the beings, that is immanence on one side and also pervasion on the other side. Immanence and pervasion. Then Shashvatam, that is, Shashvata means Shashvata is, one meaning is eternal. Sarvada Ekarupam, that which is unchanging. Shashvata, that which is unchanging in nature. Then Divyam, divine. Adi Devam, that is, you are the original for all these duplicates. Adi Deva, that is, you are the first Deva, you are the first divine level. That is, in that supreme consciousness only, all these small entities, all small god forms which any religion can conceive of, because all these gods, whether there is a form or without form, they do have functions, isn't it? So that is that Saguna level. So long as the God is punishing somebody and rewarding somebody, so long as the God is sending somebody to heaven and somebody to hell, so that man is a God with functions, isn't it? So all these things, they are all conceived in that supreme consciousness only. In the background of that supreme consciousness only, these things are conceived. So that is why he is called Adi Deva. Then Aja, this word we have come across, that Chaitanya which is originless. Ajam Vibhum, Vibhu is Vyapanashili, that is all pervading. So the immanence, pervasion, etc., they are all told. In this way, in this manner, this Rushayaha Ahuhu, all the rishis, they call you, they mention you. So that is the meaning here. So this word, this shloka has to be connected with the first word of the next shloka. So let us see the bhashyam. Okay. Param Brahma, Paramatma, Param Dhama, Param Tejaha, Pavitram Pavanam, Paramam Prakrushtam, Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Nityam, Divyam Divibhavam, Adidevam, Sarva Devanam Adau Bhavam, Adau Bhavam Devam, Ajam Vibhum Vibhavana Sheelam. Okay, there is only one simple line. That is Param Brahma. We explained Paramatma, that supreme Atma. Param Dhama, Param Tejaha, that supreme Tejas. Tejas is splendor. Then Pavitram, the meaning of Pavitram is Pavanam, that which purifies. That which is purifies means that which is untouched. Not only purifies, that itself is Pavitram, that pure thing. It is not only an adjective, it is also a noun. Pavitram, it can be used both as an adjective and also as a noun. Pavitram. So Pavitram, then Pavanam, that is Paramam Prakrushtam. Pavitram is Pavanam. Paramam Prakrushtam, that is Parama is Prakrushta, supreme. Then Bhavan, that means you. Then what do people call you? Purusham Shashvatam, Nityam, Divyam, Divibhavam, all these words we just explained now. Shashvata I explained, Nityam I explained, Divyam, Divibhavam. Divibhavam means that which is above everything. Divibhavam. Adi Devam, Sarva Devanam Adau Bhavam, one who is the origin of all other gods, all other say divine forms, one who is the origin of all the divine forms. Then Ajam, say originless. Vibhum, Vibhavana Sheelam. Vibhu means one who is not only Vyapanashili, that is Vibhavanam. Vibhavanam means Vividha Rupena Bhavanam, that is capable of manifesting in different forms. Vibhavana Sheela, that whose nature is to manifest in different forms. Vibhavana Sheela. Sheelam means that is his nature. Vibhavana Sheelam, that is the nature is to manifest in different forms. So that is the Vibhavana, Vibhuhu. Then Idrusham. So in this manner, let us see the next shloka. Ahustvam Rushayas Sarve Devarshir Naradas Tatha असितो देवलो व्यासः
असितो देवलो व्यासः
स्वयं चैव ब्रवीषि मे.
स्वयं चैव ब्रवीषि मे.
Okay, so here tvam means you. Ahuhu tvam rushayah sarve. Rushayah sarve, that is sarve rushayah, all the rishis. Tvam ahuhu, they call you. They call you as what? You go back to the earlier shloka, that is Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Aditevam Ajam Vibhum Ahuhu. They call you like that. They call you in that manner. They address you in that manner. Ahuhu tvam rushayah sarve. Who are those people? Devarshihi Naradaha Tatha. Devarshihi. Devarshi is the divine god, the divine rishi. So there are among the rishis or among the sages, in our tradition we have got two types of sages. That is one type of sages who were just created by Brahma, the creator Brahma, not Supreme Brahman, the creator Brahma. Say he just created some wise people. Manasa Putra, they say. Manasa Putra means out of his sheer thinking, out of his sheer tapas, he created some of these rishis. They are the Sanaka Sanandanadulu, Sanaka Sanandana, Sanat Sujata, Sanat Kumara. Those are the Sanaka Sanandana, they have four. They are there. In addition to that, there are people like Narada. Narada is one of them. So, Devarshihi Naradaha. Tatha, likewise, Narada we know. Narada is that, say, very, very famous rishi. Of course, we are also going to see that Narada also is a Vibhuti. He is one of the Vibhutis of the Supreme Being. Among the rishis, I am the Devarshi. Among the Devarshis, I am Narada. So that is what he is, Lord Krishna is going to say. So Narada is the divine rishi. Naram Jnanam Dadatiti Naradaha. One who spreads knowledge. One who spreads the knowledge means divine knowledge. That the Brahma knowledge, Brahma Jnanam. One who spreads Brahma Jnanam is Narada. That is the meaning here. So he goes, whenever there is a small problem somewhere, he goes and suggests some solution. Suppose there is some god or some goddess in distress. So this man goes and suggests some solution. Or if some demon is over ambitious and then overreaching, so he goes to that demon and then he instigates him in such a way that he comes and picks up a fight with Vishnu and then gets destroyed ultimately. So Narada is somebody who does several things in the interest of Loka Sangraha, that is in the interest of human welfare of the world. So Narada is that is how a very, very famous and very active character, something like a divine journalist, let us say. Of course, journalists, they have got their own agenda nowadays. But apart from that, if you can visualize a very, very honest journalist, 100% honest journalist, so Devarshi Narada is somebody like that, who goes and then not only journalist, he is a man who is the person who intervenes whenever there is a problem. And then he also puts certain ideas in the minds of people at the right time. So that is also there. So anyway, about Narada we will see later, because about Narada I have to tell a couple of stories also in course of time. So Devarshir Naradas Tatha. Tatha means likewise. Asitaha Devalaha Vyasaha. Asita, Devala, Vyasa. These are all not the divine rishis. They are all the rishis of this world only. We talked about Devarshi Narada is one, and rishis of this world are Asitaha, Devalaha, Vyasaha. Asita is the name of one rishi. Devalaha is the name of another rishi. Maybe these rishis were very, very well known in those days, but somehow the names of these people are not much known now, because if we see the Puranic encyclopedia or anything also, we don't find much. Vyasaha, Vyasa, sage Vyasa, we know. Sage Vyasa, we can't be sure whether it is the sage, the same Vyasa who wrote Bharatam and all these things, and also they classified the Vedas, or it may be Vyasa could be a title also, or he could be a rishi who is prior to this sage Vyasa, we do not know. So Vyasaha, Swayam Chaiva Bravishime, you are also telling me that you are that Parabrahma, you are the Paramam Dhama, you are that thing. So you are also saying that you are that Purusha, Shashvata, Divyam, Adideva, Vibhu. In that manner, you are also saying, the rishis are also saying, so that is the meaning here. Okay, where is it? Ahuhu Kathayanti Tvam Rushayah Vasishtadayaha
त्वां ऋषयः वसिष्ठादयः
सर्वे
सर्वे
देवर्षिः नारदः
देवर्षिः नारदः
तथा असितः देवलः अपि
तथा असितः देवलः अपि
एवमाह व्यासश्च
एवमाह व्यासश्च
स्वयं चैव त्वं चैव
स्वयं चैव त्वं चैव
ब्रवीषि मे.
ब्रवीषि मे.
Okay, this is also a simple shloka. Ahuhu kathayanti, that is the rishis, they say like that, kathayanti. Tvam means you in dvitiya vibhakti, they call you so, they address you as so. They tvam rishayah, who are they? Vasisthadayah, this Vasistha, Valmiki and all these rishis. Then sarve, then devarshi, even the divine rishis, naradaha, tatha, likewise asitaha devalaha api evamaha, he also told the same thing. Vyasascha, including Vyasa. Then swayam chaiva, you too, tvam chaiva bravishi me, you have been telling me. Okay, we'll see the next shloka. Sarvametad drutam manye Sarvametad drutam manye Yanmam vadasi keshava Nahite bhagavan vyaktim Vidurdevana danavaha. Okay, here sarvam etad rutam manye. Aham sarvam etad rutam manye. I consider or I deem that all that what has been said about you is rutam. Rutam means right. Sarvam etat, all this. Sarvam etat is all this. Rutam, right. Manye, aham manye means I think. I deem that what all has been said by all these rishis, etc., this is all true. Then yat mam vadasi keshava, whatever you are telling about me or telling about you to me, I say agree, all this is true. Then nahite bhagavan vyaktim, he bhagavan, te vyaktim, he bhagavan, te vyaktim. Vyaktim is your personality, your reality, your swarupa. Vyakti, we use that vyakti to refer to a person. Vyakti here is a personality, your real nature, your swarupa, your nirupadhika swarupa. If you want to go to what the meaning given by some commentators, that nirupadhika swarupa, that is nirupadhika swarupa we know. Sopadhika is that which is having an upadhi, nirupadhika is that which is unconditioned by any upadhi. So your unconditional state, so that is the meaning of say vyakti here. So this nirupadhika swabhava or unconditional state, devaha na danavaha viduhu, neither the gods nor the danavas nor the asuras. Danavas and asuras are one and the same. Devas do not know, asuras also do not know. So there are two ways of say understanding this. Devas and the one way is, even the devas and asuras, they do not know about you. What to talk about say the difficulty of knowing you. So that is one meaning, isn't it? But there is also a dhvani in this. Dhvani means one say implied meaning. So when you read this, in the beginning also we have seen Lord Krishna himself is saying, what is that? You say, Yomam ajam anadimcha vetti lokamaheshwaram asammodhassa martyeshu sarva papaih pramuchyate. We have seen the same adhyaya, the third shloka. You go back to the same adhyaya, third shloka. The one who knows me, yaha mam ajam anadimcha vetti, one who realizes me like this, then among that gentleman, sa martyeshu, among the mortals, sarva papaih pramuchyate, in the mortals, he will be rid of all these things and he will realize me, he will attain moksha, isn't it? So when Arjuna is saying the devas and danavas are not able to, they are not able to know you, it means that humans may know you, isn't it? Humans are not included. There are three types of people. Gods are there, demons are there, and humans are also there. So you are saying that neither the gods nor the demons can know you, which means the people can know you. And that is what we see in the Upanishad also. Athamartyo amruto bhavati etavadhyanushasanam, we just recently read in Kathopanishad. Athamartyo amruto bhavati, the mortal becomes immortal. That means he has always been immortal. Unfortunately, he has been thinking that he is a mortal. So that is what we saw there. So the same thing. And in this shloka also, in this adhyaya also, he said, What is that? Asammudhassa martyeshu sarvapapair vimuchyate. So among the people, among all these mortals, he will become immortal. He will come to me. He will realize me. So that is what he says. So that sort of dhvani, that sort of suggestion is there. Dhvani means that implied meaning, that implication. Dhvani actually means implication. That implied meaning we can see here. So because Deva and Danava, we also know there is one more reason also. The Devaloka is called a Bhoga Bhumi. Danavaloka is also another Bhoga Bhumi. Bhoga in the negative sense, Devaloka is a Bhoga in the positive sense. Bhoga means Anubhava, experience. Bhoga does not mean pleasures and all that. Bhoga can mean anything. It can mean a pleasure, it can mean a pain also. Pain also is a Bhogam. Raja Bhogam can be there, Daridra Bhogam can also be there. There are both Bhogas. So this Devaloka is a Bhoga Bhumi, where you have done some good karma, you have done all these good deeds and all that, and then you have gone to that particular Devaloka, you are having some enjoying some pleasures and whatnot. Then Danavaloka, Rasuraloka is some place where you are getting some sort of unpleasant experience there. You are in the midst of unpleasant people who are kicking you around. So that is staying in some stupid country where you are kicked about. So that is something like a hell only, isn't it? So that sort of place is the Asura Loka. So there, that is because of some bad deed you have done, you are there, isn't it? So there is no scope for karma. Devaloka, there is no scope for karma. Danavaloka, there is no scope for karma. In the Manushya Loka, this Manushya Janma is said to be the karma bhumi, isn't it? Manushya Janma is the karma bhumi, where you can do some good deed and then you can go up, and then you can do some bad deed and go down, or you can just devote your time on pure jignasu. You can be a pure jignasu, do Shravana Manana Nidhyana, purify yourself and then become the Brahman itself, isn't it? So human Janma is the place where you can attain the Supreme. So that suggestion, that sort of dhvani is there in this shloka. Sarva nahite bhagavan vyaktim vidur devana danavaha. Okay. Then let us see the bhashya. Is the shloka clear? Yes. Shloka I didn't explain, I think. Sarvam yetat rutam manye yat mam vadasi keshava nahite bhagavan vyaktim. Vyakti I explained. Vyakti is your personality, your nirupadhika swarupam. Devaha na danavaha viduhu. Viduhu means they know. Na viduhu means they do not know. Let us read the bhashyam. Sarvam etad yathoktam rushibhihi tvayacha tad rutam satyameva manye yat mam prati vadasi bhashase he keshava nahi te tava bhagavan vyaktim prabhavam viduhu na devaha na danavaha. Okay. Sarvam etat. That is all this. Yathoktam rushibhihi tvayacha. Whatever has been told by the rishis and also by you, tvayacha. Then tat rutam satyameva manye. All that I deem or I consider as right or correct. Manye yat mam prati vadasi bhashase. Plus whatever you are telling me about you, then he Keshava. Then nahi te tava. Te means tava, yours, Bhagavan, hey Bhagavan. Vyaktim means prabhavam. Prabhava means, there are two meanings for prabhava. Earlier also we have come across this word. Prabhava means origin. Then prabhava, another meaning is prabhavam. That is nirupadhika swarupam. That your unconditioned state. So that's that thing. Na devaha na danavaha. Neither the gods nor the demons viduhu. That is, they do not know. That is the meaning. Let us see the next shloka. Swayameva atmanatmanam Vettattvam purushottama Bhutabhavana bhutesha Devadeva jagatpate. So here, Swayameva atmana atmanam. Then who will be able to tell me? Neither the gods know nor the demons know. Of course, the rishis, of course, they know something. The rishis, they have been telling about you as Purusha, Shashvata, Divya, etc., etc. But then of course Arjuna has the option to go to some rishis and to know about say the Bhagavan. But anyway, the Bhagavan himself is present in front of him. So that is why he says, you yourself you have to tell me. Because he has an option to go to rishis. Because Arjuna is saying that Rishayaha Sarve, Devarshihi, Naradaha, Asitaha, Devalaha, Vyasaha, all these are capable of telling. So that is that Guru Parampara also. We say Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyama, etc., etc. Otherwise, if nobody can tell about it, then where is the need to go to a Guru? So we have to again wait for Lord Krishna. It is not possible. So that is why. But anyway, he is saying, though the Maharshis are also capable of saying all this, you are right now in front of me. So you please tell me. Swayameva Atmana Atmanam Vettatvam Purushottama. He Purushottama. Purushottama. Purushottama is Purushebhyaha Uttamaha. That is, among all the Purusheshu Uttamaha, Purushebhya Uttamaha, Purushascha Asau Uttamaha. Two, three different forms that samasa can be understood. Purushascha Asau Uttamaha. Purushaha means Purnatvat Purushaha. That which is complete, that which is infinite, that is, Purnam means infinite. But the one who is infinite, so that is one thing. Purishayanat Purushaha, that is one who is immanent in all things. Immanence and also pervasion, both are there. And then you are the supreme among them. Purushottama, I am also a Purusha. Bhagavan also is a Purusha, isn't it? We are also Purusha, isn't it? So then what is the difference? Purushottama. You are the Vibhuti, or every small ant also is a small Vibhuti, isn't it? Compared to Lord Hanuman or some Narada or some such man, some such being is a higher Vibhuti. We are also some small infinitesimal Vibhutis. Anyway, Purushottama is Purushascha Uttamascha. So that is one thing. Then Sarvameva Swayameva Atmana Atmanam Vetha. Vetha means you know. Tvam Vetha. What? Atmana Atmanam Vetha. You know about yourself. You know about yourself, He Purushottama. Oh, say the great among beings. Oh, the great one among all the Purushas. Then Bhuta Bhavana. Bhuta Bhavana means Bhavayati. That is, one who being one, he manifests in different forms. He makes all the Bhutas appear. He makes all the Bhuta means beings. All the beings appear. So that is what is called Bhuta Bhavana. One who is capable of, say, appearing as so many Bhutas. That is Bhuta Bhavana. Then Bhutesha. Bhuta plus Isha, Bhutesha. That is the Lord. Lord of all these beings. Then Deva Deva. The Lord of the Deva of all the Devas. All these divine forms are but just manifestations in you. In that sense, Deva Deva. Then Jagat Pate. For this whole universe, you are the Pati. Pati means the supporter, the basic supporter for the whole universe is you, because the whole universe, the entire universe, you are the substratum. Chaitanyam is the substratum for all this Jagat which is manifesting. So we will see the shloka in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.